Okay, we'll call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Nicholas County Commission to order. Today is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. It is 9:18 a.m. We do have some business to discuss before we have our first agenda item. If you all just wait with us here for just a moment. We do have a public comment period. Do we have anyone here for public comment?
No.
We do not. So that being said, if we could begin with the motions, please.
Let's see, do we have
Review
reviews?
and- Yeah, it's on down.
All right.
Yep.
I make a motion that we review and waive the reading of the February 7th, 2024 minutes.
The motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the exonerations as presented by the Nicholas County Assessor, move to approve accordingly.
That motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the estate and fiduciary matters as presented by the Nicholas County Clerk, move to approve accordingly unless otherwise needed.
That motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon submission of budget revisions received from the elected officials and department heads, the commission will take appropriate action as deemed necessary.
That motion is on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the invoices as submitted by the various departmental offices, the commission will take appropriate action as deemed necessary.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. In terms of office expiring, we do have the Nicholas County Fire Board for the position of Benjamin Ben Bly, and he is termed out of that position. There are only 2 consecutive terms allowable per member of that board, and the vacancy was tabled the last meeting. This will be for a term of office expiring February 6th of 2027. Do we have any nominations?
I have a nomination of Angela Evans, would like to sit on this board.
Okay, any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor of appointing Angela Evans to the Nicholas County Fire Board for a term of office expiring February 6, 2027. This is one of the citizen positions, not the fire chief position, so it should be one of the 3 citizens of the county to this board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? The motion does carry. That being said, Mr. Clerk, do we have everyone present for the Troy County Fire? Mr. Crane, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, very good. We can hear you too, so we will get started here shortly.
Gentlemen, if I may,
Hold on one second. I'll call the meeting. Yes, sir.
There is an attorney in Golden, Colorado, who represents Mona Kelly, the heirs of Mona Kelly, who has asked to participate.
Okay.
yeah, I provided a full copy of that.
Okay.
Mr. Chapman.
Do we need to call him in?
Well, you know, I think he's on the phone, he wanted to be present by time.
Okay.
He emailed this to me last night, and I guess to you as well.
Okay.
And it's my understanding he represents just one of Mona's heirs, and that is Kathy Sue Music in Zach.
Well, we'll give him a chance.
Did you get this one?
You did?
The letter, yeah. Did he provide a email link? His first one says appearing by Zoom.
I do not see, there is an email, so if we can't get a hold of it, we can try it real quick. We won't hold too much. Yes, trying to reach a Francis H. Oldham. Okay, my name is Garrett Cole, I'm the president of the Nicholas County Commission. We're getting ready to have the hearing on the Troy Kelly file. Okay, so I'm gonna put you on speaker, okay, and we'll get started. Thank you. Anyone else? That we know. That being said, we're here now on the estate of Troy Kelly, file number 10270. And this is regarding the request of removal for an administrator. We'd like to go and make sure we introduce everyone here. We'll begin with you, sir. What's your name for the record?
I'm Roger Williams. I am the administrator.
Okay. And appearing by Zoom, if you could name yourself for the record, please.
Thank you. I'm Kevin Crane, attorney in Ohio and the guardian of James Kelly, one of the beneficiaries of the estate.
Thank you. And by phone, please.
Hi, my name is Frank Oldham. I'm an attorney in Golden, Colorado, and I represent Kathy Benson. Music Benson, I'm sorry. It's a hyphenated last name. Kathy Music Benson. And she is the stepdaughter of the deceased that you're working on that estate, and the natural daughter of her mother who lives in Ohio.
Okay, thank you. That being said, our attorneys are already bound to tell the truth and all that, but if you don't mind, I'll have you raise your right hand.
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that in the matter now in hearing, your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. So that being said, I'm gonna bring, just for everybody's information, including on the phone, I'll try and keep you up to date what's happening. I'm gonna bring Ms. Brown from the clerk's office up to explain where we're at on this case.
Okay, so we heard this matter on December the 6th regarding that no appraisal at that time had been filed, and there had been no paperwork showing that the administrator's bond had been renewed since 2021. And since that time, we have gotten in a appraisement this morning. We also have a final settlement that can be filed if those are the steps that we want to take.
Have you not received anything about the bond?
No, I haven't received anything about the bond. There was a claim on the estate from Simon and Coleman Funeral Home, and I did get a fax copy of a release of that, so that claim has been paid.
We have you on this too.
Yes.
Okay, if you'd like to present to, please. And if you don't mind to step up, just so everybody can hear on the phone and everything.
Well, let me explain. If you recall, the sheriff's office was the decedent's guardian conservator at the time, or conservator at the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And frankly, there's a discrepancy. The sheriff turned over $304,751.69, and there's only $165,203.41 noted in the appraisal.
May I ask who he turned that over to?
Shannon knows.
That was what was turned over to you.
In the checking account?
There were multiple accounts. That was what was turned over to you by the lady who handles the conservatorships.
You have
Who's
those?
that?
She works in the tax office in the sheriff's office. Her name's Lori.
Did we
So that
talk
was-
with her?
Turned over to you.
I'm unaware of that. I received approximately $174,000 from the Community Bank Trust. And if there's other monies, I mean, when I went to the bank, I asked him to put everything in that account. If there's other monies, then it's either still in the bank, or, what's more likely, unfortunately, is that money went with, now that was as a conservator for him, for Troy?
Yes.
Okay, and
It's my understanding you were provided copies of these,
No,
bank statements.
I wanna hear that. I mean, can I see those? Are those copies?
These are my copies. You can get your copies from the clerk.
And
Those are the ending balances when the conservatorship was closed out, correct?
Yes.
So we know that money exists.
And it's multiple accounts.
okay, well. So. Okay, well, and do you have any idea where these accounts are now? I mean, you say it was turned over to me. I'm curious as to,
Well, the information was turned over to you, and as the administrator,
can you tell me who gave it to me?
I just told you, the tax office, Lori in the tax office, turned over the information to you.
This was also in the estate file, was it not?
Yes,
This is also what?
in the estate file.
In the commission's estate file.
Well, that's wonderful. For it to be gone, I assume if it was in my hands, I would have had to somehow disperse it, and I haven't. So that means I have it. If it was given to me and it hasn't been dispersed by me, I would say that that money's still in the bank. Oh my God. Okay, let's see. I think, I don't know this, that I'm ready, I would bet that this money went to Glenna in Ohio with her daughter, Diana K. McNeely. Can you hear me? While Glenna was still alive.
No, these were, the sheriff had this information.
I'm sorry, sir.
These were the ending balances when the sheriff's office ceased being the conservator. There would be no way for her to have gotten those accounts before he died.
Well, and these all were these all with Community Bank and Trust?
No, they're separate accounts. Let's see.
Are you saying they're with, are these his retirement accounts?
Sir, I don't know.
No?
I just know that this is the amount of money that the sheriff was the conservator for, and that's the information that was given to you when
Okay.
you were appointed.
All right. And they were in whose account when they were given to me?
We don't-
They were in these accounts
Okay.
with the sheriff as the
Who
conservator.
owned it? Who was taking care of the money? Who had the account?
The sheriff's office had the accounts. We were conservator for
I
those
just want to make
accounts.
sure we're being that was bigger.
Well, does that mean that he would have somehow had to transfer that money to me, or is it still in his
No.
account?
No, you have
No,
copies of the paperwork.
you have
where the
copies of
money's
it.
at.
That's not my question
I
is,
mean,
is
that's
where's
where
the
the money
money?
was at when we ceased the conservatorship. That's where the money was at. And whatever happened to it from there, we couldn't tell you. That's where the money was at on these documents.
And frankly, from there forward, that's your
provided.
responsibility.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for letting me know that. I'm just wondering where the money is, because I
It's
don't.
exactly where it was when we left it, if you
Well, then
didn't
that's
do
where it's-
anything with
Well, that's a
it.
good thing.
But that's the question, is did you do
Well,
anything with it?
no,
Because
I
it's not
haven't.
accounted for in your appraisement.
I have never touched the money, and the only thing I can tell you is that his retirement accounts were tied to Community Bank and Trust, and I talked to a sweet lady over there, and I thought it all went into one account. But the first $300,000, in addition to what is in the community trust bank.
No, 300 total, 304 total.
Okay.
And the, as part of the administrator, as administrator, part of the duties are to ascertain what funds there are and to reflect them on the appraisement. And if you were given copies of this information, so you would have had a starting balance, and that should have been reflected on the appraisement. So you have a starting balance, so you know where to start from, and it's not reflected on here, and now you're saying you didn't know that the money was out there, but
So-
Well, let's
that
bring
was
this
the
back to the
starting
commission.
balance.
Let's bring this back to the commission. Brandy, who is it that is requesting the removal of the administrator?
It was requested by Simon and Coleman. Well, they were asking for something to be done because they had a $5,000
Right.
claim.
Now, that's in here. Has it been paid?
It has been paid.
Okay.
We talked to Tommy Coleman this morning. He also faxed over
Right.
confirmation that it has in fact been paid. So at
Yes.
that point, we were asking for removal because there was a claim that had not been paid, and also it had been over 2 years since there had been any action taken on the file.
Now, who requested the removal?
Simon and Coleman,
But now that they are out of the picture, who is requesting the removal?
we are,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How did you become the administrator? What gave you the power to become the administrator? Short answer, I don't want you to build a clock here, I want you to tell me what time it is.
Lena asked me.
Okay. I would like to make a motion right now that we remove him as administrator and put it in the sheriff's hands and get this fixed.
Well, I'd like to request that we pause on that motion until we hear from our folks on the phone and Zoom. And then we can act if that's okay. Let's see. Mr. Crane, if you'd like to go first, do you have any responses you'd like to give the commission here this morning?
No, not at this time, I don't think. Although I should, Ms. Music Benson just told me that she apparently verbally, but not in writing, did request removal of Mr. Williams.
Who's
At
that?
one point in time, I'm not sure when.
Who requested?
Kathy Music-Benson.
Okay.
Is one of you here?
She
Yes,
is my client.
I believe yes, but I believe that was, early on. I think that, an administrator had not yet been appointed, but she had sent in an email in 2021 concerned, maybe she had heard, I'm not exactly how she heard about who was going to be appointed, but at that time, there had not, no one had come in to be appointed, so that's why her objection wasn't heard at that point.
Can I ask, did she specifically ask that I be removed?
And Mr. Oldham, do you want to respond to that?
I'm sorry, I get your voice real easy, Mr. Chairman, but the other voices are kind of
Okay.
spotty.
Mr. Williams was just asking if your client had requested that he specifically be removed.
Yes, okay, yes. Yeah, well, Ms. Benson can answer better than I, so go ahead, Kathy.
Well, Ms. Denson, I wasn't aware you were there. Real quick, I need to swear you in. I'm going to go off the honor system.
Apologize, sir.
Ms. Denson, if you'll raise your right hand, please, and let me know when you are.
My right hand is raised.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that in the matter now in hearing, your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you may proceed.
Okay, I have called Mr. Williams several times, and I'm sure that the clerk can attest that when all this was happening, I called there several times and couldn't reach anybody. And then Mr. Williams came and applied to be the estate, in charge of the estate. And I have called since then and left messages, and I have gotten no response or no answer to any of my calls. I was concerned about things like my grandmother's quilts and things like that.
Do you have anything to say on that?
I did talk to her about her grandmother's quilts. I recall that, And I think Mr. Olden will attest that I talked to him about her grandmother's quilts just last night on the phone. And she wanted me to find a quilt and send it to Colorado. And I told her until there was an estate for Lena, I didn't think I could do that. And, you know, by the way, you know, that would require all of them to come, I guess, to the house and agree on taking things from the house.
Okay,
May I speak?
yes, you may.
No, I'm not, I didn't want specifically that the quote be mailed to me. I just wanted to make sure that it didn't get sold. After Mr. Williams, he actually called me at one point while my mother was still alive and told me that I should recommend to my mother that he be put in charge of the estate. And at which point I told him that that was between my mother and him. And I've tried several times to get in touch with him and gotten no answer and no response. So I had no idea, just like the court there in Summersville, what has been happening with the estate all these years.
Okay,
Well,
and Mr. Crane, do you have anything to add? And you are on mute.
I do not.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to Mr. Crane on Zoom, sir.
Right now.
Yeah, I thank you. I just have a quick summary of my involvement.
Yes, sir.
So
That's
I've
fine.
talked to Mr. Williams several times, and he has stated that an issue he had is there was no estate for the surviving spouse, this Mona Kelly, who happened to have died in the state of Ohio. She has two next of kin, I guess three next of kin who live here in Ohio. Fourth being, I believe, the daughter who is in Colorado who's participating here. So I contacted, I'm the guardian of the one, he can't serve. The son, I contacted him, he was not interested in serving. I talked to the daughter, this Diana McNeely, who was not interested in serving. So I sent them all documents, the two Ohioans, to consent to my appointment so I could be appointed the fiduciary of her estate. And he would then, Mr. Williams would have somebody to distribute assets from the Troy Kelly estate. That application is pending in the Champaign County, Ohio probate court. Diana has since changed her mind since she wanted to serve, but hadn't prepared any paperwork. I told her I would assist with that, but I don't believe, I believe her appointment is going to be objected to by the brother. They both accuse each other of taking money. And so, the bottom line is the Champaign County, Ohio probate court is going to have to sort out who's going to serve as fiduciary. That's been, however, the issue of, and I'm not completely conversant in West Virginia probate law, but the appraisement, I assume, is some sort of an inventory of the estate. And what I noted for Mr. Williams as recently as yesterday is there is no accounting for the assets. He told me what has happened to the money, and that not much has been distributed, but I haven't seen any accounting. And it is frankly, as a former employee of our probate court, those situations concern me when accountings aren't filed, and I urged him to get one filed. I have no idea what the status of this bond is too, but that prior topic alerts me that needs to be done also. And as far as this sheriff's conservator, $304,000, I would agree that somebody, I assume there's an accounting of some sort, maybe from the conservator that could show disposition of the entire 304 available.
It is.
So
Absolutely.
that's sort of my summary of the situation from where I sit.
Okay, thank you.
John, let me, if I may, direct your attention to the December 6, 2023 minutes on this matter, third paragraph. I mean, this shouldn't be a surprise, because I advised the commission and Mr. Williams at that time that the sheriff turned over a substantial amount of money in excess of $175,000. I mean, it's in your minutes. So that occurred at the last meeting.
And is that what's reflected in the minutes? That it was 170, a substantial
It's there, the third paragraph,
third paragraph?
in the section involving this estate, this matter. At that time, I wasn't aware of exactly how much money, but I knew it
Yeah.
was substantially more than $175,000.
Well, I don't see anywhere where it would suggest that I had knowledge that it was $300,000. I knew it was $175,000. And it's, you have in here just in parentheses, well, you don't, sir, somebody typed this up. It says in excess of $175,000 in addition to real estate. And frankly, it didn't dawn on me that it was accounts in a bank or somewhere else. I thought that you might be talking about the vehicles, the cars, the tractor, the tools. It doesn't say that it's
Yeah, it's just a substantial amount
substantial
of
amount of
money
money.
in excess of $175,000.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
does
sure
say
what-
that. It does. Well, sorry, I didn't,
And you have this, you have everything from the sheriff.
I don't know that I do, but I can't imagine the sheriff holding anything back. So,
I just,
I can't dispute that he gave it to me. I didn't realize that there was that kind of money.
I don't think that's the problem. You have
Well-
completely failed at this job, and
Well-
we are going to replace you.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Go ahead.
All right.
Do we have a motion to any effect?
I'll make a motion that we remove Mr. Williams and we appoint the sheriff if they're willing to take it and get this solved, because apparently he's not gonna do anything or do it correctly.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any discussion on anything from legal counsel? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those against, the motion does carry. Is that acceptable with you, Sheriff?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can I just say that if there's anything I can do for you, Sheriff, if you think that there's some way I can help recover this money, fine. If there's anything that would indicate that I'd have it, I'd like to know immediately, because I think it's still either in the bank. I think it's still in the bank. That's the only thing I can say.
We wish you all luck with working on that, but we are running behind schedule, so if
Sorry.
we could have this road clear out, and we'll go on to the next. I appreciate everybody's time here this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Hey,
I've been trained to watch.
so gentlemen, I just wanted to come before you to kind of, well, it is hot in here, so I better take this off this a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Summersville Tailgate Market Association, it has been in existence in the county for, well, I've been here 22 years, and I think it was here 30 years prior, so we're at 52 years. This market was set up for local growers in the county to sell locally grown fresh fruits and vegetables. The location, as you all well know, and you all have supported and helped with some things in the past, above the Dairy Queen. When that market was set up, it was designed for 6 days a week to be open, and we had some commercial growers at the time that could really be there about every day. So as things have went along over the years, some of those growers have become older, and so are not longer producing to where they could fulfill a 6-day-a-week market. And some rules and regulations have opened up with the West Virginia Department of Agriculture as far as where people can market their goods also. So now we're it's more freely to be able to have farmer stands at the house or at the farm. And so a lot of our growers that can support that now are marketing from their residence, from their farm, and also things have opened up with some school boards on this farm to school program, so we're moving some products. So the diversity of marketing has really opened up is where I'm going with this. And so the farmer's market has become another outlet to sell. And so over the years, especially the last 2 or 3, we have really struggled to get growers to a strong commitment to keep that market going. So if you come out there and you're a buyer and you show up on Monday morning and no grower is there to sell, and you do that about 2 times through the week or 3, you're disappointed and probably not going to come back. And so in the last couple years, I've really had a hard time of even getting enough members to come in and make a board of this. And so we've been able to keep the board up and running and some officers of the market. So where I'm going with this is it's time for a change, a reorganization. And, you know, as the ag agent, I'm probably the one to try to lead that. And so as you can see, on this list that I gave you, see suggestions. I have 6 bullet points that I've looked at, and I had the West Virginia Farmers Market Association review the market with my input on it. And so some things that have come out is and we have a meeting coming up February 27th with growers that I've kind of broadcast to come in and give me their input and hopefully get them to join. And so where I'm going with this is we've got to look at the bylaws and kind of get this group to look at getting some other vendors outside of Nicholas County. That's been a big thing. And the second thing you're looking at there is the importance of a market manager. And that's why I'm here. And so I need some money is what I'm after. So a market manager would be a person that would one, as you can see there, overseeing the day-to-day operations, enhancing vendors, boosting customer engagement, and integrating the community. So I'm looking at trying to get somebody in for 100 hours, $13 an hour. So we're looking at about $1,300 to hire this market manager. And I have no one in mind. And so that, as I was thinking about that this morning, I really need an engagement person to help change this. And so my vision, what I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at shortening this market from 6 days a week down to just a couple days a week and really publicizing that, one, for the customers to show up, and 2, I think that will give growers more of an opportunity to say, hey, if we know that people are going to come on these days, they're more likely to leave that farm stand or however they're marketing it to come and establish here at this market. The market's vital to the community. Hey, it's, you know, it's the cool thing, it's the good thing, economic enhanceability to have a farmer's market in the community. And I sure well don't want to see in my reign of 50 years of this thing going down the drain.
And you all accept the senior voucher program too, right?
Correct.
So that's a state program that seniors can actually go to these markets and get fresh produce right there.
So each county, the state gets $1 million for seniors to buy locally grown fresh produce, fresh fruits and vegetables. Can't be baked goods, eggs, da-da-da. It's got to be fresh fruits and vegetables. They can only spend these at a bona fide market stand. The product has to be grown in West Virginia for them to be able to purchase these. And so that market is a bona fide market stand to be able to accept those. However, some of these farm stands now can apply and get that also at their home. So it's not as big a thing to be at the market to take those as it once did. But however, that is an outlet that our seniors can buy those fresh fruits and vegetables. So, in the past, you all have also helped with board of directors insurance also in the past. And so, you know, I don't have a figure on that, and I hate to keep coming and asking because at some point, sometimes you've got to be self-sufficient. But we're not a growing pain, we're, I guess, a midlife crisis, wouldn't you say? And we've got to figure out how to get this thing back up and going and keep it here and help, 1, our farmers, and 2, help our local citizens. So, I can do a couple things. I can if you want to be a partnership, maybe I could submit a grant with the city of Summersville. They've got a deadline coming up. I could look at doing that if we want to do a partnership to kind of spread it around. You know, I'm up to putting that together. However, the group is no longer a 501c3, so I don't know where I'll fall into that grant application with the city of Summersville. Is my only concern that I thought of as I drove in this morning.
Okay, that might be something we might have to review too for our standards, but we could probably figure that out pretty quick. Just maybe not this morning.
Now, you know, I'm speaking on behalf of me and the farmers market. You know, they do have a board, and I want to bring this back to them also. But I wanted to say, you know, we do have the opportunity to obtain these funds if we want to move forward with this.
What happened to the 501 status?
They didn't keep up with it.
Do you know how long ago it expired?
I don't.
Like
Just when I did a search, I noticed that it was not an active.
like 2 years ago, 10 years ago, or does it just say inactive?
Inactive, yeah.
Because he could, if you don't mind, later on, he could review and see when it went inactive. Because there's a certain grace period I'm aware of that, I mean, pending commission approval, you know, maybe even our grants coordinator could try and help them get that reestablished or something like that, if that's something the grants coordinator should do. I'm not sure if there should be an attorney.
We'll have to look at it.
Okay.
And there's
And there,
also,
yeah, and there may be ways to work with Brown to give it to another organization that can kind of help out, that is 501c3.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good cause.
it's a pretty good fee too, isn't it, to get that back?
It may very well be. And there's some work to be done to it.
Yeah.
And it's not fast, from my
No.
understanding.
No. No.
And this is common with some boards that I've worked with over the past. They let those things go delinquent. They're not good at keeping up with them.
Well, it's work. I mean, it's work that people aren't used to doing.
But not, you know what I'm saying?
So could you run this under the WVU extension program as a 1099 contract employee?
Oh, yeah. See, I'll have to dig into that and see who I can run it under.
That's smart.
And then who would that person report to? They would directly report to you yourself?
Well, I would have guidance. However, they would probably be a direct report to the Summersville Tailgate Market Association.
Okay, so and definitely if I was going to support this, especially with $1,300, that person not be put out there on their own. I mean, like
Correct.
basically some strict guidance and supervision on the front end, and somebody that could step up, hopefully after a week or two on their own.
I'm not gonna let them fail.
Okay. And then definitely, I would have preference to Nicholas County residents. And if you're marking out that you maybe hit even just the surrounding counties, because we had spoke of in the WV board meeting, that folks they go to Ohio and bring the produce back and sell it. And, we're trying to avoid those type of things.
Correct.
And then maybe we set aside a day table if somebody doesn't know the process and shows up that day to sell because they know their buddy's coming to sell, and that, we just have one day table where somebody come in, first come first serve on that. Just one spot set aside for somebody who maybe didn't
New.
get registered or selected, or they're
Okay.
just small, or I want to run with the big boys and learn the trade secrets type thing.
Understand.
That would be a suggestion, not a requirement.
Understand.
Sorry, I had a couple weeks of thoughts on this.
No, that's-
Yeah, I've
No, yeah, he's ready.
But I think it's definitely a good program. I do.
sitting on our board, I went to Gary and
Yeah.
spoke.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a good investment.
So.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a worthwhile thing. I do think we should probably table it until we figure out some more logistical things.
Legalities of it, yeah.
But I mean, I would say that I would be in favor of at least part of your request, yeah.
I would probably go ahead and file with the city to get in their grant, just in case too.
Yeah, in worst case, we can,
That's going to be the same problem there.
Yeah. Yeah.
you have a grant writer in your office.
I do not.
Can we lend our grant coordinator for that?
Yeah,
If you'd like to use Ms. Brady,
and you might
our
even
grant
put your
coordinator,
costs
she can help you with getting
together
that together.
for everything. Like you want the manager, you want the,
Paint or
other things-
something.
Yeah, the other things you talk about, but also what the cost would be to get you back to 501c. Just, if it turns out to be you need $3,000, ask for $3,000. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
then that way next year we could be right back in the groove of things.
And hopefully in the long term, instead of asking adjacent counties to bring in salespeople, we would actually be pulling customers from adjacent county. I think that'd be a good thing. Scalability. Build it up. Yes, sir.
I know, next week's the deadline for the city grant. And Joan, Joan used to work for me, but you're probably familiar. There's no way I can run that through the extension, is there?
That would
As a
maybe be a
1099?
Morgantown question.
That's what I was wondering, if you had, how far you have to run up the chain.
Yeah, I got too many up ahead of the chain.
Right,
yeah.
It
Yeah,
can
that's just
become cumbersome.
an option,
Yeah.
not a requirement or request.
Hey, Brian, if it's been more than 15 months, it can't be reinstated.
Oh, I thought it was like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, just
15 months.
Has it been more than 15?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm saying
okay.
if it has been, it can't.
There's a
be
way to
reinstated.
search it, but it's tedious. Do you know how to do that? I did it once.
Probably can't
but-
do it with my iPad. but-
Right. I had to do it on my desktop myself. But I
Okay.
just got lucky.
Well, there is a process, but it takes, and it's hard.
So what's your recommendation if it's more than 15 months?
Well, if it's more than 15 months, you're not going to be able to, I mean, you're going to miss this grant period anyway, so probably the best thing to do is look for an alternative 501c3 to do the program.
To work through?
Yeah.
But isn't this kind of part of what you do through the WVU thing, that it should just be able to come as a leg under that?
That's what I was hoping.
If we run up the chain, maybe.
Yeah, I'll just have to make some calls, Craig, and see. Yeah, I don't like to get into the handling the money. I'll just be quite honest with you. And they really advise us to stay away from that. So, yeah, we don't even have a checking account. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Like,
Could we do that as like a contract thing, like if he runs it through WVU and he does a purchase order for a certain person or something like that, can we pay him like a 1099 employee? Yeah, we could probably do the money part through here.
run it through our budget, maybe through our Nichols County Extension,
Yeah.
like we do that.
And then
Greg,
you
what
may
do you
not
think?
need a whole separate board.
I'm sorry, I was reading it. so-
No, you're fine. So what he was mentioning is that the county, we hold on to the funds, but put it in place like a line item in Brian's budget, for example, which we give towards the staffing of the office and some equipment supply. Add that to that, whatever amount, you know.
Well, if we budget it to him, then, it's his budget. The question is, can he do it on his end?
If it's through the budget, I feel like I can.
Yeah, you can.
Because you still have to bring a purchase order, the commission have to
Yes.
review it. We would handle the money.
Yes.
Let's try that one. If you can't renew the 501c, which you probably can't,
No, you're not going to
then
make any
we
of
can
these.
just slide that money into your budget and.
The way I'm reading this, they're gonna have to file 3 years worth of, first of all, they have to justify why it went, it was revoked, and then you've gotta file a bunch of papers, so.
I mean, I'm comfortable. Are you comfortable with the commission just proceeding with doing it
Yeah, if Brian is, sure.
with that setup in mind? I mean, I just recommend, I can't make a motion, but I just recommend $1,300 through his budget for 1 year to do it.
Do
Do a budget
in
amendment.
the new budget, or just do a budget amendment for this?
Well, that's true.
When do you want to start
yeah.
it?
Are you looking for spring, summer, fall?
I
fall?
need to get it rolling probably April, to be honest with you, April, May.
So probably, you
Budget
could probably
revision.
use those hours up by July 1st.
That'd be right in the heat of it. I'd use them up by August 15th.
It's all right. We can work it
We can just budget it again, the remainder of what's not spent.
Revise this next year. I'll make a motion that we put $1,300 budget revision into the WVU's budget. Pending, you can do that. You look at your legalities of it, and then let's run it through that for the farmer's market.
Establishes a 1099
Yeah,
position.
but it'd be his money to do whatever he wants with, but
Right.
we'll fund it.
But yeah, an line item for our budget, yeah. Is that good enough for you? Clerk?
what are you looking at for a season?
What am I looking at for a season?
Like August, September, or?
For the season, we'll look probably from June 1 to September 30th.
Okay.
It's kind of the season.
And I guess on the off days, it would just kind of be a free for all. Like you guys have a lockdown on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever those days are, and then the off days would be
Free for all.
encouraged to
Yeah.
follow the
It's
same
still
rules.
there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't have that person, that oversight.
Yeah.
Yep.
you
So they
know,
can set up the off days even though they're not staffed manned that day. That doesn't mean they couldn't fill those days with vendors.
correct.
Gotcha.
But we're really gonna work hard on just a couple of days.
Right. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Hey, thank y'all.
Thank you, Brian. Apologize for running behind.
No, jobs to do.
That's it. But anyways, that brings us now to Miss
You started. I know, you are carrying it.
Ms. Jodo Quint and President Larry Reynolds of the Nicholas County Farmland Protection Program Board. This is regarding a resolution being requested for consideration by the commission in support of the Farmland Protection's 25th anniversary. I guess that's in the state of West Virginia.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So you have a copy of the resolution in front of you, correct?
Yes, it was emailed out to us by Patty.
Okay.
It was on February 20th.
So after Brian's request, this is fairly simple. I'm asking for your endorsement of the recognition of the 25th anniversary. The information is there as far as what we have done as a Farmland Protection Board. When I say we, I'm Elk Conservation District Supervisor on the board now, representative. I was involved with it when it was established along with Brian and Rush Butcher. Were the ones that came before the commission, and it was approved in November of 2004 in Nicholas County. So the program is self-explanatory. It's to protect farmland out of development, preserve it as farmland, and that's what we do in Nicholas County, and it's carried on in other parts of the state. Boards or counties that don't have a board, as we have, can apply through the state, and they've done that. So we're just simply asking for your support in recognizing the 25th anniversary of farmland protection in West Virginia, and 20 years in Nicholas County is what we've done.
And this resolution will be shared with the state to basically just kind of reaffirm the county's commitment to the program. right?
Certainly.
Okay. And real quick, the resolution reads, whereas the West Virginia Legislature unanimously approved the Voluntary Farmland Protection Act in March of 2000, whereas since the year 2000, over 44,000 acres of agriculturally important farmland has been permanently protected in the state of West Virginia for current landowners and future generations, which includes 1,304 acres in Nicholas County. Whereas the agriculture community of Nicholas County provides sources of agricultural products for the citizens of the state, the nation, and internationally. Whereas the agriculture community of Nicholas County enhances tourism, protects worthwhile community values, institutions, and landscapes which are inseparably associated with traditional farming. Whereas the Voluntary Farmland Protection Act, State Code 8A-12, enables Nicholas County landowners to voluntarily protect their agricultural property through perpetual conservation easements held by the Nicholas County Farmland Protection Board, thereby helping to control the urban expansion which is consuming land, topsoil, and woodland of the county. Now therefore be it resolved on this 21st day of February 2024 that the Nicholas County Commission reaffirms its commitment to the perpetual preservation of Nicholas County's agricultural resources as enabled in the Voluntary Farmland Protection Act, State Code 8A-12-1, etc. And it does have, this is named the Resolution by the Nicholas County Commission in support of the Voluntary Farmland Protection Act. Are there any questions or considerations?
Make a motion, we adopt this letter, is that how you
Yes, approval of the resolution
approve the resolution?
as presented. Sorry.
As presented.
So let me say that motion is on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry, and we will sign it here in just a moment. Real quick, not to put you all too much on the spot, but there is current legislation that was brought to my attention at the last Farmland Protection Program Board meeting of legislation moving through that they actually want to cap these easements at 25 years.
It's being talked about, yes.
It's being considered in the legislature. I did get the opinion of the board members at the meeting last meeting. They are against this because, as we all know, developers or what have you, multiple of us have been involved in developments, but nonetheless, that, you know, developers have the time to wait out 25 years and it's going to be developed anyways. You know, when we have foreign nations, China and other nations buying up our farmland, doing whatever they want with it, developers taking farmland away, this is a good program should property owners decide to be a part to ensure that this farmland is protected for generations to come. So the board is against that proposed legislation. I am against that proposed legislation and wanted to see if you all had anything to add or if you all have any questions on that.
I will add that we had Conservation Day at the Capitol, and John Pitzenberg and I met with our representatives, and they were all in support of farmland protection. And right now, I guess that bill is on hold. Joan and other people are of the opinion that it might be, they might try to slip it in at the end just to get it through, but there seems to be enough opposition to it that hopefully that will not happen. And the other thing, you know, there's two veins of thought on that. One is any new one would be capped, and the other thought is that any existing ones would fall under that and be taken out. Well, the problem with that is we have some in the county that are backed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and a lot of the other ones are backed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So it's not them against the local board, it's them against the U.S. government. So I think it would be a very difficult battle for them. So, but this opposition to it is going to be the thing that holds it back. So we do appreciate it.
So I would encourage my fellow commissioners to consider any actions we might take in opposition to this. Because really, should that legislation pass, there's no use in having a farmland protection board, frankly. Because it's just, you're playing a very short
It's just a
time
lease,
game.
25-year lease.
Right. So that being said, thank you all for coming in. We'll sign the resolution here. Patty, if you'll make a copy for our records and be able to provide the original back to Mr. Reynolds and Ms. McQuinn.
If that bill doesn't pass by crossover day, it's dead.
Has that already passed? The date has already passed?
I'm not sure what the crossover date is. That's where all bills in one particular house have to be passed to go to the other side. If it doesn't pass by that date, it's dead.
Okay.
I think that's this week.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close.
Okay. I thought it was last week, but you're probably right.
I can't remember when we talked to Roger. And he said it was that.
It was coming like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're right around there.
Thank you all very much.
Yes,
We
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Recording in progress.
So that being said, we're here now with Cassandra Lawson, who is the Senior Project Specialist at Region 4 Planning and Development Council. And if you'd please state your name for the record, we didn't get you on the agenda, sir. I'm sorry.
Ryan Bustoni with the Thrasher Group.
Thank you. We have a myriad of issues to consider here this morning, including, we'll start with the Birch River PSD Mill Creek Waterline Extension Project Resolution Number 3. And these are also in your emails, or Cassie, if you have a copy.
Yes. I've got two resolution 3s here. Let me make sure I've got the right one. Okay, so as noted, this is resolution 3 for the Birch River PSD's Mill Creek project, which is now under construction and making really great progress. A portion of the funding is going to come from the Infrastructure Council to pay for the engineering services. That funding comes directly to the PSD, so they have already approved that portion of funding. The commission is responsible for the community development block grant portion of the funding and presented for payment from the community development block grant. It's pay estimate number 1 from Pro Contracting, the construction contractor, the amount of $225,590.69. Region 4's invoicing dating back from March through November in the amount of $3,420.56. Reimbursement to Region 4 for payment of the 2 ads that were required for the bidding of the contract, the amount of $635.65. Reimbursement to E.L. Robinson for the payment of one of the permits required for the project in the amount of $300. And reimbursement to the PSD for 2 separate permits that were required for the project in the amount of $600. So overall, the Infrastructure Council will be paying $35,652.60 of invoicing, CDBG $230,546.90, and overall the sum of all invoices combined is $266,199.50.
Now, the CDBG funds, do we hold those or do we request those out of the state?
We
with this
request
resolution?
those out of the state, they just send them on a reimbursable basis. So they just send us the money as the invoices are submitted.
Of course, those funds are available for this project.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
So today we're approving the 230, the 266.
Well, the whole resolution.
Yeah, I would just recommend approving the whole resolution, collectively, and we'll just submit the commission's, individual portion for the CDBG funds.
But again, these are not county funds, these are CDBG funds that we just are in the control of.
That is correct. The PSD, public service districts are not eligible to directly receive community development block grant funds, so they're always sponsored by their county commission.
So I make a motion that we approve resolution number 3 in the amount of $266,199.50, which is the Birch River PSD Mill Creek Waterline Extension Project.
Very good. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? The motion does carry. Real quick, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. If we could have a quick update, we had the, what was the extension on with Charleston Floyd? Wilson Ridge?
That was the Sugar Tree Ridge
Yes.
Road extension. So we're still waiting on the grant agreement for that, but the engineers already started to design that project.
So we attended the IJDC meeting. They did
Correct.
show support. That was the,
That was the Sugar Tree Ridge,
right, but what was the committee that we were?
the Technical Review Committee of the
Technical
Construction
Review
Council.
Committee. Now, has it gone to the further review and
It-
actually been approved?
It has, so it is 100% approved now. We're just waiting on the grant agreement for the PSD to execute, and then they're off to the races, fully funded.
Wonderful. And that was because of a budget savings on other projects that funding was available?
Correct. So the critical needs, the state tries to hold that money back for we're going to talk about the Craigsville PSD's influent pump station critical needs project. And that's a situation that could cause a disruption for service for existing customers. They really try to make sure that they have funds available to help in those situations. So what they did this year is they waited until the end of the calendar year to see where they landed with their money. And then because they did have enough in reserves, I think they funded altogether 3 water line extension projects.
Yes, so very grateful for Region 4 and Ms. Lawson for getting that worked out for that area and expand a little bit more water.
Really appreciate you guys coming to that meeting. I think it made a big difference. I think it was very well received.
One, I'll say from experience that there's, 5 or 6 that presented, half of them didn't show up, half of them didn't know what the matters were, but Region 4 was on it, so me and Craig just got to sit there and look good, so appreciate all you all.
That was difficult.
Yeah, we won't talk about that part. But anyways.
No one she's involved.
Anyways, that brings us to item number 2, the Craigsville PSD Influent Pump Station Critical Needs Project. This is resolution number 3. The Craigsville PSD, what do you want to go these? There's multiple here at once. Do you want to go one at a time or talk about all of them? Or?
How's the agenda read?
The Influent Pump Station, resolution number 3. The generator project engineering agreement amendment, and the PSD generator project budget amendment request.
Do you mind if I do them in a little different order?
Sure,
Okay.
however you'd like.
And so Ron Bustani is here with us to represent Craigsville PSD. He is their engineer for all of these projects. We're actually going to ask that the engineering amendment and budget amendment for the generator project please be disregarded. Thrasher had to do a substantial amount of work to issue a flood elevation certificate to show that the generator that's located at the wastewater treatment plant is out of the floodplain. The initial elevation certificate was not hard to produce, but during the course of the project, the flood mapping changed, so they literally had to do like a HEPRAS study to be able to issue it. But in the sake of time and just getting the project closed out, Thrasher has agreed to kind of write those fees off. So we just asked that be disregarded. Is that still? And feel free to.
And it was from the 2016 flood, so when that came through, that changed all the elevations through that whole area that was affected. So when we originally used the flood mapping, we had elevations. When the project was completed, everything had changed. Pretty much the models stopped right above the wastewater sewer plant. So we redid it with flood elevations and everything. So like she said, we're not going to require the amendment. So we'll get that project closed out.
How much do you think that amount would have been?
Right around 10,000.
We have money
We
left.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, the PSD and you guys have been good partners, and we just want to get that project closed. And we have so much going on in the area, just move on to the next project. So
There's plenty of money left in the project, and the state said it would be no issue to submit the request, but it would have to go from the state up to FEMA, back down to the state, and then it would take time, maybe up to 6 months, so.
Again, thank you. So that being said, we need to go back to the inflow pump.
Yes, and so I'll present the resolution, and then Rod knows all the details on progress. This is resolution number 3. This is presented to the Nicholas County Commission for payment from your commitment. You were budgeted in just the pumps alone. So the amount requested today is $10,690. You guys committed $100,000. After today's request, you will have paid $98,485, which leaves a little bit more than $1,500 in the remaining funds for the commission.
We'll say $1,500 too, I like that.
Well, they'll probably come back and ask for the final payment, but sorry,
That's right.
didn't want to mislead you there.
That's right.
There
But
was
no,
no
this
farmer's
is,
market money.
well, no, I think that this project's come along well, and appreciate all the work on it too. I support resolution 3 as requested.
and construction's progressing. All the materials are in. They've put the pumps in, the bases, the discharge piping. Everything is ready to go, with the exception of the lining of the interior of the wet well. So that contractor's supposed to be there next week. So once they get everything taped off, sprayed, lined, it typically will cure for about 24 to 48 hours. Once that's done, we can pull everything off and get the backboard, the controls, everything up and running. So I'd like to say by March 1st, we'd have everything completed on the project. So this was a big deal for the PSD. All the wastewater comes through this station, and they've had some bypass pumping, and the pump it's been a progress keeping that pump up and running. It's been a process, but yeah, everything's coming together on it.
Very good.
I'll make a motion that we fund resolution number 3, in the amount of $10,690 for the Craigsville PSD influent pump station.
That being said, that motion's on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. On to the Hinkle Mountain Broadband Project, resolution number 20.
Yes, sir. So as noted, we have resolution number 20. This project is funded in whole by the Community Development Block Grant, but in 2 separate grants. So we're drawing from the oldest grant first. We received invoicing from Clint Bischoff's law firm for the work that he did in compiling the operation and maintenance agreement. It's in the amount of $12,320. Region 4 has some outstanding invoices dating back to October of 21 through April of 22, totaling $1,067.02. And then just like maybe today, it might even happen tomorrow, the commission is going to issue payment for the DOH bond that's required. That'll be in the amount of $1,100. So we went ahead and included that on this resolution for reimbursement to you to try to get that processed as quickly as possible.
So that being the permitting, that was what was the concern that I brought to you, and you said we're just in the process. There's no major holdups.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And so the bond's in place. Many thanks to Patty for helping us get that taken care of. And it has already been submitted to the Department of Highways. So that's like really the last thing that we need is for DOH to approve that permit, and then we'll be in a position to request authorization to bid. Total resolutions, $14,487.02, again coming from your 2017 Community Development Block Grant.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 20, the amount of $14,487.02 as part of the Hinkle Mountain Broadband Project.
That being said, that motion's on the floor. Is there any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. That brings us to the Veterans Memorial Park proposed campground.
Yeah, and so just wanted to let you guys know that you have received, several proposals for the engineering services at the park. What we would ask you to do is to filter through all of the proposals that you have received and select 3 firms that you would like to interview. And that'll be the next step in the process.
I think we already did.
Yep,
We already
did.
We already
You've
did,
already-
so, yeah, so
They're
we're
set
ready to
up for
proceed
March
with
the
that.
7th, Cassie.
Okay, good deal. If I could get with you on the details. Okay.
One more question. Where are we at on the Hinkle Mountain Water Project?
Substantial completion for contract 4 was just issued last Thursday, which was the water treatment, like the water treatment plant. I think Little Laurel has been in place for a while. We're just waiting on the substantial completion for the Hinkle Mountain portion of the extension and the tank on Hinkle Mountain. And I can circle back with additional details. I know they've had some issues. I think the problem they've run into is a delay in one of the materials that they needed to be able to completely wrap that portion of it up. But I can't remember well enough to tell you off the top of my head. But I will find out and I'll circle back to you.
Just tell us when the water will be turned on. That's
Yeah.
maybe what we need to know.
Sure, yep. I know it's taken a lot longer than anticipated, and it's my understanding that at the onset of construction, the contractor even paid like a little extra out of pocket to try to have some of the materials expedited, and that did not really produce any expedition.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. I have just
We'll
a
go ahead
few
and take
things.
a recess to sign these documents.
Some of these-
Okay, we're joined here this morning by Anita Groves and Ken Altizer, both members and representatives of the Summersville Rotary Club. This is regarding their annual coat drive throughout the community.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We were early.
You wanted to experience the excitement.
Yeah, so glad.
Kim was going through withdrawals, right?
And
He's thinking
flashbacks.
himself.
He was like, oh God, I'm glad it's done.
Okay.
Trauma.
All right, so I'm here with Ken, as you said, representing the Summersville Rotary Club. As you know, the Rotary Club is active and supports the community in many ways. We not only give generously of our time, but we take on projects to assist in the community which we live. Currently, just some things that we have going on. Currently, we're partnering with the Nichols County Community Foundation to purchase and install 6 vape detectors in the restrooms of the Summersville Middle School. These were needed. We asked, if there's something that we could do. And these were needed to help the teachers and staff know if these kids are using these vapes in the bathrooms, because we all know that's harmful and they're dangerous for them. So that's in the process right now. Last season, we purchased a new vacuum and new pool furniture with the help of the Nichols County Community Foundation grant for the pool. And then we're currently in the process of installing shelters at the pool with the help of the St. Patrick's Day grant, so partnership with them. And that will be installed before the 2024 season. We also give out multiple scholarships, and those applications are in the works right now and should be scored by the scholarship committee shortly. So with the partnership of the commission that we've had over the past several years, you guys have been generous to us. We've been able to give out 939 coats to the elementary students in Nichols County. The need is great. We actually had to turn some away last year. How many did you say we had to turn away last year?
We had to turn away almost 200 last year.
So the need is incredible. But we wanted to come, we hate turning the kids down, but it happens. We have to select, and the coats cost quite a bit. So we're basically requesting again to partner with the commission to help out these kids, and we were hoping for maybe a 50-50 split. On the low end, it would be $7,000 for the coats. Probably on the high end would be $10,000. Because we do hate to turn down kids that are in need. I mean, it's not their fault that they're in the situation they have, and no child should be cold. But we appreciate what you guys have done in the past, and I know you get asked for everything, I know this, but this does help the whole county, and we don't want you to pay for all of it. We will definitely have skin in the game as well. What else did you have, Ken? Did you have
The only thing I'd like to add is that this started about probably 8 years ago. We started with the pipeliners. They started giving coats, and so we got involved with them. And we probably purchased $5,000 worth of coats. The pipeliners probably put in that many, or maybe more. So we gave these away in the county. Well, when the pipeliners left, it was up to us. In the first request, we asked for needy people. Some of the schools have more needier than others, and some of them requested pretty near everybody in their school. We can't do that with the funds we got, so we had to go back to the superintendent and readjust and everything. So we gave away 240 some coats a couple years ago.
Last year we gave away 241.
241. They requested like 500. So we would like to be able to honor their requests a little better, if possible. Although I do know that sometimes when you give too much, sometimes people start taking it like
Yes, sir.
welfare, so to speak. So we'll be careful with it, but anyway, that's just what I want to add.
Do you believe that 10,000 figure would help bridge that gap on like what you had to turn away last year or come
Oh,
close?
yeah,
or-
the 10,000
Oh,
will
yeah,
bridge
that would
that. The fear I have is that it'll go up.
Right, and that's the thing, and you don't want to give to one child and then have another child there that needs as well. I mean, they're kids. I mean, but you know, we also know the money's tight with the county, so anything that we can get, we will be much appreciated. We will appreciate it. You guys have been very generous to us in the past, so
And all funds go towards buying codes.
100%.
So these coats will be distributed when?
We usually do it.
We'd like to do it in October.
Yeah, we
Okay,
try
yeah.
to do it like.
So it'll be
this
in the
is-
fall, okay.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is for the
That's what I
fall.
thought.
Yeah, we're
Just wanted to
planning for
clarify
the
that.
fall.
Yep.
Because it takes a while to get all the coats,
Right.
because we can't get
Can't get them
them
in one
here.
place.
You have to go all over the place to try to shop for them. And,
But summertime pricing might be good.
well, and if we know what we're looking at, it's, you know, good. And we do hit every elementary school. The only one that we did not help last year was, I believe, Panther Creek, and that was because a church sponsored their coats. So they were still supplied. We just didn't have to, they didn't need ours, so, yeah.
Is it your all's opinion that Rotary would be willing to go up to $5,000?
Yeah, what, we've got the, they know 50-50 split, so whatever you guys do.
We have talked about 5,000, so
Yes,
yes,
yes.
I think the opinion is that we would.
Yes, because we weren't sure how, you know, how your funding would be, or if you guys would continue to do that.
Well, I can't argue about taking care of kids. I mean, I'll just put that to you straight. So it'd be I can't make a motion, but it'd be my recommendation to fund $5,000 out of Cole Severance toward this project.
And I have to leave it up to Gary because being on the board of directors of Rodeo, I have to abstain.
Okay. So that being said, is there any other discussion? Any other discussion or consideration?
I'm gonna step outside and think for a little bit, and I shall return.
We're behind schedule. We do
Right,
not have
no, I'm
time.
playing. So definitely, now that I know that it's gonna be given out in the fall, I didn't know if it's spring or fall. I'm like, just don't give them out in spring, guys wear them for a month, and they throw them in a closet, and then they come and get another one next year. Yeah, I can get behind that, so I make a motion that we contribute $5,000 out of the Cole Severance
Wow, that's awesome.
to support this program. And the only thing I would like to see is that when you guys hit the schools, you said you're actually getting all of them. Maybe give them to let the school make that decision, because I mean, like
Well,
you
we
say,
do.
everybody in the school's going to ask for a
The
code.
schools
Well, I
make
would.
the decisions.
Yes.
What we do
Yes.
is we go to the superintendent. Superintendent puts it out to all the principals.
Distributes it from
They
there.
come back in with the numbers,
Mhm.
and then when we go to the schools, we just give the box or the
There you go.
pallet
Right.
to the, they give them out.
Gotcha.
And also, just to bring up the opportunity, if you're, when we do go out and give these codes, it would be nice to have one of you guys there as well, because, you know, this is a partnership that you
Right.
guys have helped with us, so that would be good too, and we'll let you know when and where. So you
We
can have
definitely
your
appreciate the
smiling
match.
face.
Yes.
The match is very much
Appreciate your all's willingness to put skin in the game, for sure.
Absolutely.
So that being said, that motion is on the floor. Is there any further consideration or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? All those who abstain?
Aye.
Aye. Just to make sure that's on the record. That being said, the motion does pass. So,
Thank you.
very good program.
Very much.
Glad to be a small part and appreciate what you all do.
I'll be so happy.
Worth the wait.
Well, Patty cut us a check on the way out.
Well,
Well, it won't be as long as it was last year.
Here, we got them out a minute before they're supposed to start. So
Hey, look, we're doing good.
I'm
We're doing
so
all right.
happy. We got to spend the
Thank
whole
you,
morning
guys.
with you guys. Thanks a bunch. See ya.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yes,
All right, we can hear you. Very good.
Okay.
We're learning to get technological. We'll go ahead and go back on the record.
Recording in progress.
We're here now with Marcia Hanna and attending by Zoom, Mary Jane Williams, of the members of the board of the Richwood Community Center. This is regarding a decision on the roof request for the Richwood Community Center. So if you all have anything else to add or anything like that.
Do you want to update them, Mary Jane, on what we have gotten so far? Can you hear me?
She may not be able to hear you.
These microphones,
Oh,
you
okay.
might even come up to the table, and she'll be able to hear you on that.
Mary Jane, you want to update them on what we've gotten so far?
I don't have that with me, but I think so far, acquired 60,000. Is that, do you remember any more,
Yes.
Martha?
That since we met with you last, we found out that we've gotten 60,000 from
Yes.
two
And we're
different.
still waiting on the Bernard McDonough Foundation,
Mhm.
which we had requested, I believe, that possibly another 15,000.
Mhm. And we did check with the city about the opioid money, but we were told it's only to be used for treatment and
For
the police. So,
law enforcement.
Law
issues.
enforcement.
50% up. 50% up.
The other 50% is at your discretion.
okay.
Yes. Yes, those guidelines are still coming out, but that's the general principles
Okay.
from
That's
what we've
okay.
I think
received.
the other's creative, but they can
I
also
think they're about 2 police cars.
put
with their
it,
plan.
the 50% into their general fund.
Okay. Any discussion on this? Or anything else to add? Okay.
No, I think that's it.
Thank you. That look okay to you?
But we did have another, we're requesting 99,000 from the,
USDA.
the grant itself, so.
Yes. We met with that on that yesterday, and it's supposed to be completed by the end of the month.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So we still need, actually, we do need, almost 75,000 then. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're the most vested.
Huh?
You're the most vested.
Most vested. So one of the things that I took into consideration over the past couple of weeks is the fact that we have a $300,000 chiller unit that we're going to have to replace in the courthouse probably by summertime. We're going to be able to do some repairs and hopefully limp it along. We definitely don't want to step out and eliminate a total partnership, but I'm actually willing to make a motion for a $5,000 investment into that roof.
Okay, any other motions? Any other motions? That being said, that motion is now on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Where would you like to request those funds out of?
Yeah, Cole Severance.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. So,
All right.
okay. Hope that helps you all along and
It'll
wish
help.
you all
Every
good
little
luck
bit
as
helps.
everything goes along.
Yes. All right. Thank
Okay,
you, guys.
thank you very much.
All right. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mary Jane.
Bye.
See you, Marcia. Safe trip home.
Thank you.
That being said, we're down to our commissioners' comments, but if I could, I would like to request a moment of executive session concurrent to.
I need to go.
You what? Oh, we got. Yep. I am so sorry. We're gonna do an amended agenda here for the 9/20 appointment. We do have County Clerk Robert Painter. This is regarding the approval of the school levy for the ballot. And that is what we are receiving here now.
Yes, sir.
So the Nicholas County Board of Education passed their, I guess, a levy order to go on the ballot yesterday at their meeting. If you go towards the back, it's about the same thing, but starting on page 6 is what will actually go on our ballot. And I just need a motion and approval to add that to the ballot.
Alderman?
It doesn't change anything, it just continues on what's there. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
So it's pages 6 through 9 of our document here, right? All of it.
This is
The start of actual.
This is their, what they did yesterday. I'm sure the dollar figure is a little different from the last time, just because the property value.
And of course, we're just allowing it to be put on the ballot, pretty much.
That's right.
I mean, it's, right, it's
Yeah.
their verbiage, their request, their everything. We're just allowing it to go on the ballot for consideration.
And this goes as the primary, that's all.
Okay. Again, this is the approval of the school levy for the ballot. This is for the primary election ballot of 2024, which will be held on, the election will be held on May 14th. This has been approved by the Nicholas County Board of Education. They requested of the commission to permit their verbiage and request to be put on the ballot. I did not see any major issue. Legal counsel have anything? So do we have any consideration or questions concerning this?
Just to be clear, they prepared that, all they're asking you to do is put it on the ballot.
Correct. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we put it on the ballot.
Motion is on the floor. Is there any further discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? The motion does carry. Now is up.
That's it.
All right. Now, if I could, I would like to request an executive session concerning commission real estate. This is pursuant to West Virginia Code 6-9A-4, and I took a picture so we could refer to that at other times if needed. If I could request that, please. Yes.
I'll make a
yes.
motion to go into executive.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Again, that is pursuant to West Virginia Code 6-9A-4 concerning commission owned property, and it is 11:03 a.m. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry, and we do stand in executive session. Okay, it is now 11:47 a.m. No decisions were made during executive session. This is an executive session that was held pursuant to West Virginia Code 6-9A-4 concerning county commission real estate. Is there any other discussion on that, or is there a motion to come out of executive session?
Make a motion, we come out of executive session.
That motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. We are now at commissioners' comments. Commissioner Roberts, I'm sure you're going to talk about it, but if you don't mind mentioning the pool event, a little bit of a fundraiser.
No, it wasn't. Glad you said that.
Hey, well, I can't remember the date.
March 2nd, 2 p.m.
March 2nd at 2 p.m., the Nicholas County Veterans Memorial Park and the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission is holding a Act a Fool for the Pool. It is similar to a polar plunge, but of course this is a fundraiser for the pool itself. $25 for an individual to jump, $5 to watch, and is there an amount for a team? Or it's just how much they raise?
How much they raise. If there's an opportunity to, if you hit some certain benchmarks on fundraising, you can win like a free pool party, a free annual pass, things like that for teams. There's a little incentive for to bring some money. And what we're doing is we're trying to raise some money to keep the cost of admission down and offset some of the costs of the pool. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Costumes are optional. They're strongly encouraged, but optional. And I think there's actually a costume competition as well for that day. Should be a lot of fun. And you don't have to jump in, just come up and watch, but it actually should be pretty fun.
Mr. Roberts, I heard you were wearing a Speedo. Is that true?
Santa Speedo. Yes. Now I have a Santa warm-up suit with a Santa hat on. And I'll wear it occasionally. I didn't want to put my actual Santa suit on, but yeah, I'll have a Santa suit.
Is it in the deep part or the shallow part?
That's what we got to figure out. We got to figure out how we can get people out.
Babies. Kiddie pool.
Kiddie pool.
Wasn't ending up in shock.
Right. We got to figure
That's
out
kind of what I
Get a
wondered.
big hook.
We will have lifeguard, at least one lifeguard, or some sort of life-saving rescue on site that day. It's fun. I've done one before.
I don't really have anything, unless you all do for Commissioner's comment.
I would like to take this time to express the loss of a long-time retired employee, Bobby Gordon, which was deputy sheriff for a number of years. Then he was magistrate for a number of years. Not to age him out, but when I was a kid, very young, he was my Little League baseball coach. Somebody I always looked up to. So we just like to give our sentiments to the Gordon family and to the Nicholas County people. It was a big loss to Nicholas County.
In fact, actually, to add to that, if we could stand for just a moment, we'll have a moment of silence in honor of Mr. Gordon, and then close the meeting if that's.
Yeah, I got one. My comment when we're done.
Thank you. And to reflect on Commissioner Chapman's comments, you know, these men and women do so much for our communities. They're often looked over when they've been retired out of the system for a while. So I appreciate you bringing that up and making sure we bring honor to everyone that we can that serve this community in that capacity.
He's a fine man.
All right, so I've got one real quick. As part of the role of commissioner, is in my mind, is being as thrifty and as cost savings as we can, and some of the initiatives we do are proactive. There is currently a bill on the floor, Senate Bill number 835, and what that's going to do is it's going to raise our jail bill by 33% on all percentages that we pay. Currently, right now, at 80% capacity, we pay $43.58 a day. The new rate would be $58.18. Our 100% capacity currently is $54.48. That's going to go up to $72.34 a day. And our 120% capacity is currently $65.38. That will go up to $87.65 a day. That's 33% across the board. That looks at somewhere around $250,000 a year increase in our jail bill based on current trends. And the way they determine that 80, 100, 120% is they take your population, and I think we're sitting around 24,750, and they multiply that by 0.52. That gives you your allowable days. So that number would give us our 100%. As long as we're in our 80% range up to 100, we pay that reduced amount, which I think we just switched over to the 100% this month.
We will be real close.
Right. That bill is being led by Senator Tarr. And as of now, I just checked a few minutes ago, there's no co-sponsors and nobody's signed on to that bill yet, so we're hoping that dies on the Senate floor. But that's a chunk, folks, and if you look at that number, we're probably one of the average counties, times 55 counties, that's a chunk of money. There's some theories on why this is being proposed. I won't necessarily get into that aspect, but
I will if you'll allow me.
Hey,
go ahead.
Brother, go for it. One thing we're doing is on the State Board of Directors, we've disseminated emails out to contact both delegates, well, all your legislators, so for us it's 2 delegates and 2 both senators, to ask them to fight this bill. Try to hopefully kill it in the House, and if the Senate, and if it reaches the House, that they kill it on the House side. So there's it's believed to be a retaliatory.
And we just got the reduction.
Correct.
And it's like bait and switch.
Yes, 100%. So we're getting ahead of this, and basically we're trying to keep the costs down. And this is a proactive measure, which was my overall point. And like I said, if you want to research it, it's Senate Bill 835, currently on their agenda.
And if I could add to that, county commissions were forced by the state roughly 30 plus years ago now to go away from the county jail systems. Of course, everybody knows we still have our jail to the left of the courthouse here. We did not have a choice. Some counties held out, and eventually the state did force them, and we went into this regional jail system. There were bonds that were purchased by the state in order to fund the construction and equipping of the regional jails, and those were 30-year bonds. It was promised, of course, unfortunately, commissioners at that time did not require any kind of documentation of this as much as we really need, that once the bonds were paid off, that the commissions would no longer actually have to pay. This county puts close to, if not well over, $1 million a year into a state program that we did not elect to be a part of. And so really, it's easy for the state to require money for their programs whenever they set the legislation to put us on the hook. This county has done a very good job, even through the 2015 era of near bankruptcy, to keep up with these jail bills. However, many counties have not. Our friends from Webster County are they still over 2 million?
Well, I think somewhere around 1.8 to 2.
1.8 to somewhere around
They
$2
paid
million
$300,000.
in debt. You know, they can't receive certain grants. They can't receive pay raises for their elected officials, so they have struggles at times getting their elected officials. So they have the counties over the barrel. And so any kind of public input on Senate Bill 835 would be appreciated. Senator Tarr is a very retaliatory person. He was the lead proponent on what was considered Amendment 2 a few elections back, that would actually strip the counties of our business and personal property taxes. And the state promised, again, another unwritten promise, that they would reimburse the counties those amounts. Well, as we all know, the economies are cyclical. Should the economy ever turn down in West Virginia, which will happen again, I don't care what any politician will tell you, including me. It will turn down again, and when those funds are not available, what are they going to do? Are they going to cut their budget, or are they going to cut ours?
Right.
And so, absolutely, West Virginia should have and did oppose Amendment 2. However, the counties are coming under scrutiny and retaliation for standing up for making sure our taxes, not just our incomes, preserved to run the county, which we have many responsibilities we do have to meet as a county set by the state, but also that you keep local control in how your tax dollars are spent. Otherwise, you might as well just have 5 counties in the whole state, consolidate them all, and do away with all of us. Rip this historic courthouse down, and we'll all be a Greenbrier County or a Fayette County or something like that. So if you want local control, you want your actual local elected officials that we all have an election coming up. We know how important these positions are. We can't do it on our own all the time. We've tried to do a little bit better here recently as time goes on and continue to do better. However, we can't do it on our own. And so the public really needs to understand what's going on here and the help that we need in opposing such bills like this, because otherwise, this jail bill goes up 35%. We lose deputies, we lose secretaries, we lose critical infrastructure that the county needs to just do our basic constitutional duties. And so it's unfortunate, it's sad, but it's in the hands of our legislators, and we could use your help in trying to make sure things like this are not taken out on our sheriff's departments, our homeland securities, our parks and recreation, and other county entities. I am off my soapbox.
Hey, appreciate the input.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion's on the floor. It is 11:57 a.m. Today is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024, of a regularly scheduled meeting of the Nicholas County Commission. Is there any other business? Is there any other business? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion's on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. We do stand adjourned.